Over a pound, the band flips down. So today I want to talk to you about underwear. I want to talk about my underwear and yours too. So I wear these American Eagles boxers, and every time that I put them on, they give me feedback with brutal honesty about where I stand with my weight. So when I put on even a little weight, and I'm talking about 1 to 3 pounds, if I bend over to pick something up off the floor or to tie my shoes, the waistband of these underwear flip down. It's game over. That's my sign to tighten things up with my diet and get serious. Nowadays, I hover pretty consistently around 180 pounds, which if you watch this video here, you'll understand how I got to that weight and what I'm doing to stay there. 180 is my sweet spot. That's where I feel lean, I feel light on my feet, and there's not much extra fat around my waist or my abdomen for me to pinch, and it's where everything is mostly right with the world for me. But if I creep up just a pound or two, the waistband of these babies flip over when I bend down, and they won't flip back up when I stand back up. And what's funny is that this has literally become my early warning system for weight gain. Not the scale, not the mirror, not my scrubs, but these boxers here. And I know this may seem silly on some level, but the fact is this simple little wardrobe surveillance system, my boxers, have the power to keep my weight in check. And if I'm not paying attention to my diet, it doesn't take much time for them to start screaming at me and trying to get me to notice that something is going on. And that's really the point that I want to make. Our clothes really can help us stay at a healthy weight, but if we're not paying attention to the sometimes not so subtle signals that they're giving us and we ignore them and we move up to that next pant or dress size, we're really missing an opportunity to reset towards our healthier weight. And it's not just underwear. For you, it might be your jeans that don't quite button like they used to, or a favorite shirt where the buttons gap or gape open across the chest, or it could be the suit that only gets brought out for a wedding or special occasion and only then says, hey buddy, just FYI, it was over 8 months ago and 10 fewer pounds when you last pulled me out of the closet. And in fact, that's what happened to me about a year ago. My younger brother, he's in the corporate world and he owns more suits than I own pairs of socks. I work in scrubs, and when I'm not wearing scrubs, I'm typically in a t-shirt and jeans. So 1 year ago, when the only suit that I own casually informed me at the very last minute before leaving for a friend's wedding that my suit jacket was completely not buttonable, that jacket was telling me in no uncertain terms that I'd gotten fat. And it kept reinforcing that message to me every time I ran into somebody at the wedding that I knew. And to be honest with you, I was embarrassed that I'd gained that weight, or at the very least, I didn't have the option of wearing a different proper fitting suit. And I can remember to this day just how uncomfortable I felt that entire evening while I was wearing that jacket. So why does this matter? Well, as we age, especially as we hit our 40s, our 50s, 60s, and 70s, even small fluctuations in weight become more significant. Even a few extra pounds can affect your blood pressure and your blood glucose, your joints, your sleep, and even your self-confidence. Metabolism often takes a hit when we age, and it's not what it used to be. What we could eat in our 30s and get away with it without blinking becomes an unwelcome guest that overstays its welcome. So having a real-time feedback loop in the clothes that we wear, that's pure gold. And we should use that feedback for the gift that it really is. It's subtle, but it's not judgmental, and it's honest. That snug button, the folding waistband, the shirt that's a little too clingy, that's your body saying, get with the program and tighten things up. It's also important to watch how we interpret what's going on and how we talk about it. And what I mean is this: too often when something begins to feel too snug or the button on our jeans get harder to pull together, we have a tendency to say this piece of clothing, whatever it might be, doesn't fit me anymore. We're placing the blame on a particular article of clothing, when in reality we should probably be saying, hey, I don't seem to fit into these jeans anymore, or I'm not fitting into my little black dress right now. It's subtle, but it's more honest. Unless your clothes accidentally shrunk in the dryer, it's usually not that your favorite pants are rebelling against you and refusing to let you put them on. That belt, the one that you've grown past the last buttonhole, it didn't just one day make the decision that it wasn't going to hold your pants up anymore. More likely is that the dietary decisions you've made over a certain period of time led to a breakup between you and your belt. But that doesn't mean that you and your belt can't get back together again. And just like human relationships can heal, you can decide to adjust various aspects of your lifestyle, and you know what those are. So once again, you can wear that belt or wear those jeans or that dress. So instead of dreading that snug feeling of a particular item in your wardrobe, what if you simply just embrace that feeling and and utilize the information that it's trying to give you. Figure out which 1 or 2 items of clothing speak to you and consistently give you feedback in some form or fashion, and keep those things in rotation. Not the stretchy stuff, not your forgiving joggers. I'm talking about the shirt that only fits perfectly when you're at your very best, the jeans that won't pass your hips unless you're at that particular place, or the belt that's only useful when you're at that ideal weight. Think of these items like a compass, or better yet, like a coach who's always watching, and they only speak up when they recognize that you need a little nudge of encouragement to make a small adjustment. And remember, it's not about shaming yourself. It's really about staying in alignment with your own sense of what's healthy for you. And again, go back and watch this last video if you haven't seen it. Even though I lost 15 pounds from an episode of food poisoning in Paris, the intentional decision to keep that weight off and to stay at a more optimal weight from where I started, it improved my blood pressure, it improved my blood glucose, and it just made me feel better all the way around. As a doctor, I've seen firsthand how just a few extra pounds can build into something bigger, especially as we age and get into our 50s and beyond. A 5-pound weight gain might not seem like much, but it increases pressure on your knees and your joints, and it can affect blood glucose and blood pressure, and it can cause our energy level to take a hit. And here's the thing, many people don't notice weight gain right away. Looking back at a video that I made just a few weeks before we left for our trip to France prior to my food poisoning induced weight loss regimen, I can see how puffy my face was at 195 pounds. I looked terrible, I looked unhealthy, and yet I hadn't really noticed until I watched that video. So until our clothes start talking to us or our brain is alerted by some other aspect of how we look or feel, we may not recognize that our weight has changed much. And that's why I love this simple concept of paying attention to how our day-to-day clothes are fitting. So here are a few practical ways that you can make your wardrobe your ever-present wellness coach. Number 1, pick a feedback outfit or 2. Some items you wear regularly that only fit when you're on track. Number 2, avoid overly stretchy clothes all the time. They're comfortable, I know, but they're also sneaky and deceiving about what might actually be going on. And number 3, listen without judgment. If the waistband flips down, it's not pointing out your failure. It's simply providing you some feedback. And number 4, course correct early. It's far easier to lose the 2 pounds that you've been alerted to than it is to lose the 20 pounds of weight gain you chose to ignore. And number 5, don't waste the moment. When you notice the waistband flip or that snug feeling of a shirt or dress, ask yourself what changed. Was it my recent travel? Was it too much stress? Was it too much snacking? What changed? Let your clothes be a bit of a snitch. For me, it's my boxers or a suit coat. For you, it might be your favorite blazer or a blouse or a swimsuit. It doesn't really matter what you choose, but let it speak to you and then listen and pay attention to what it's saying, because it's trying to tell you something about your health. If the waistband flips down, it's not the end of the world. It's just your cue to tighten things up a bit. Case in point, this morning I hopped on the scale and I was at 181.2 pounds. Now, that's not far off from my newly adopted baseline of 180 pounds, but it is up a little. And the fact is, last night I ate a couple of cookies that have been calling to me for a while, and that set me up to eat a couple of other things that I would have typically avoided. It's just information, and knowing where I'm sitting this morning weight-wise allows me to approach the day from a dietary standpoint with more clarity and with strategy. It's simply about paying attention and adjusting along the way accordingly, because these things do matter. Again, if you haven't watched this video here to see how I lost 15 pounds wrestling with a French food bug that tried to take me down, watch this video next. As always, thanks for watching. Be well, and please share this video with someone you feel might benefit from watching it. All the best to you, and I will see you in the next video.